All right, Zach's question is up next. He says, what is considered the boiling point for a portfolio, or the bowling point? Is it when it makes more than my salary or more than what I put into it? Can you kind of expound on what you mean by your finances reaching the boiling point?
Man, all right. So the first thing you said is so interesting. More than my salary. Oh, this is really, really fun. This is why it's that time of year. If you do not do an annual net worth statement, you unequivocally 100% should start doing it today, because it's amazing. I promise, your future self will thank you for doing that. If you want to use ours, you can go to learn.moneyguy.com. You can download our net worth tool. Well, one of the things that we put on there was this idea of, okay, how hard is my army of dollar bills working? Like, what is really neat about this? And Brian, you came up with this idea, and then we started tracking it to kind of compare, because what we wanted to see is, was there ever a year where the increase in our net worth was actually greater than the income that we earned that year? So whatever money we made as earned income, did our portfolio, did our net worth go up more in value than that? Well, if that was the case, if the net worth of the portfolio grew more than that, you could make the argument that my assets, my resources, my dollars are working harder than I could. They are literally doing more for building wealth than I can do on my own. That is an example of a boiling point that is pretty stinking awesome and pretty stinking cool. I just think it's so interesting that Zach mentioned that, because that's something that we actually put on the net worth tool that you can be tracking on a year-over-year basis.
Yeah, this is something I talk in depth about in Millionaire Mission. Mm-hmm. I'd encourage you to go to moneyguy.com/millionaire mission if you want to pre-order the book, because I think it's so, where I was thinking about the concept is I get so sad because we talk about compounding interest and letting your money work for you, but people don't realize that it actually might take 10 years or even a little bit longer to really see how powerful those decisions you make early on are. And that made me sad, because it does tie into the correlation, because if you try to watch a pot of water go to boil, see, I can't say it. This is why this is all.
You watch a bowling pot of water.
When you put a bowling ball in a pot of water, the bowling point is going to take a while to actually see. No, seriously, it's one of those things where if you're trying to watch when does water actually reach the temperature, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius, to where it actually starts boiling. It seems like a watch pot never boils. Mm-hmm. And that's the way your financial life can work as well. And I always get sad. I don't want somebody who watches this content in your early 20s and you start doing your Roth IRA, but then you get distracted with life and consumption decisions and other things, and you walk away from it because you just didn't, or maybe the market's volatile and you're like, man, these guys talk about my money will work for me. But 2022 was a bad year. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many comments did we get from people saying last year was a horrible year? Why am I even doing this?
Why would I do this? My net worth is lower.
I'd have been better if I'd have just put it in cash. I'm like, yeah, but that's the whole risk is rewarded. And now if you stayed the course in 2022, you get the returns in 2023. But back to the point of what Zach is asking, what I like to see is if you guys can, always be buying and create an automated wealth building system. And that's what we've tried to help you make the good habits and the easy and then the bad habits hard, is that all of a sudden one day you'll notice when you get your quarterly report from wherever you like Fidelity, Vanguard, or wherever, and you'll be like, whoa, the change in value this quarter was more than I make in 2 months. Mm-hmm. And you're like, whoa, my money was starting to work. That's the first indicator. And then it's no different than the way temperature of water or any material, because it's just that it kind of turns into even a cooler thing, is that boiling pot of water could turn into hot lava of wealth creation. Mm-hmm. And the fact of exactly what Bo's talking about is that you can get your portfolio and your money to a temperature that it is doing such fascinating things that you own your life, you own your time, you get to do anything and everything you ever thought. That's why, guys, I am now at that sentimental age where I've reached the age that I started saving to retire at. You think about it. When I was in my early 20s, I said I was going to retire at 50. And now I'm 50, and I absolutely love what I'm doing. But you know what? Because I started saving and reached the boiling point, I'm making decisions that are now more purpose-driven than they've ever been, because there's flexibility. I'm doing things that will benefit you guys out there in the audience, that will benefit the team that's around here. So it's not only that you get to make decisions that create independence, but having those and reaching that bowling point will also give you financial flexibility for the long term as well. And that's what I like: options and freedom and owning your time.
But you have to stick with it. That's the hard part. You have to stick. You have to put in the time to get to the boiling point, because there are so many things out there. There are so many different distractions that want to pull you away from the things that you should be doing. So if you can stay disciplined and stay dialed in, and you can do things like an annual net worth statement, like being part of the food group, like subscribing to this channel and watching this content to keep you focused and to keep you narrowed in, you will be amazed when you wake up. I mean, I'm seeing it all in the chat right now. This is so true. I started doing my 401k early on, and it was up and down, and I thought it was a waste. And holy cow, now my portfolio makes more in a month than I used to make in a year. Like, those sorts of things really happen if you can stay committed, stay disciplined, and stay the course working towards that boiling point.
Yeah.